This has been a very strange and difficult year. About a month ago, one of my friends took his own life, and I would have never thought in a million years, not this guy. You know, he had money, he had a nice house, he had nice cars, plenty of cars, nice truck. He seemed happy to me, and this has been bothering me for a while. I've been trying to figure it out. Why? What went wrong? Why, he didn't call me or anything. We hung out together, and every time I saw him, he seemed like he was happy. But then I heard this video right here. I think it was on TikTok, but it was Deion Sanders. Man, it brought some closure to me and made me realize a few things. But I want to share this with you guys, and you guys tell me what you think about it.
So whatever I wanted to do in life, I wanted to be great at it and dominate it. So I was reluctant to get naked and come all the way in with my hands up.
How did you come to know Christ?
How did I come? Hell,
yeah, tell me that moment.
Hell. I was kissing hell. I was making love to hell. I was adopted by hell. I was going through hell at the height of everything. I was going to hell. I was winning Super Bowls, playing in World Series, doing my thing, but had no peace, no joy. Didn't feel like no one loved me but my kids. The only thing that I felt like was real and authentic and loved me because they the only one who knew me.
He just didn't have peace. I mean, he had everything that you would want in life, but he wasn't happy with it. He just didn't have that peace that he wanted.
This soliloquy, you could sleep in the bed with 2 and 3 women and nobody's satisfied. You got 100 suits, you can't cover up the pain. You got 300, 400, 500 pairs of shoes, you can't take a step in the right direction. You got 9 or 10 cars in the driveway, you ain't going nowhere. You got a 15,000 square foot house, but you ain't got a home. By the time you get to the bottom, because God is calling you collect, and you do not want to accept the charges because you know it's going to cost you something. So that ringing, that noise in your life that you can't turn it off. You up the bat and you 3 for 4 that night. And you stolen 3 bases, but that ringing is in your ears and in your head, and you cannot turn it off. You go on the football field and you dominate. You breaking up passes, you returning touchdowns, you high-stepping, you doing your dance. But after the game, it's ringing, and you can't get this out of your head. So now you just crying out. You're crying out for help. And you began to be suicidal. So you sitting on the bench with the Cincinnati Reds, and you 3 for 4, few stolen bases, and you take a bottle of pills right in front of all your teammates. That's your cry for help, because you can't cry. You know why? I'm the man. How can the man cry for help? We all told our sons, back in the day, you don't cry. You ain't soft. You ain't no sissy. You don't cry. You don't tell nobody your problems. You internalize them. You man up.
So
That's how we grew up.
if you're there, what's the word of hope that changes that?
The word of hope is sooner or later, you're going to have to surrender. You're going to have to surrender. Because you may not see it now. You may not know it now. But life is so much better if you just surrender. Why are you fighting a fight that's already fixed? Surrender. I didn't really know what that meant when I see people on television come out. You know, the old Western, they came with their hands up. They're surrendering. They say, you got me. You got me. I'm not fighting no more. You got me. Don't shoot. You got me. And that's how I went to God. And see, I had a moment. That's why nobody can tell me nothing about the gospel of Christ Jesus. Nobody can tell me nothing about who he isn't, because I had a moment right in a room in Cincinnati, Ohio, a condo by myself. When I finally got on my knees that night and I surrendered, I said, Lord, if you here, take me, I'm yours. And the lights that came into that room, the sound and the wind, the whistling, and it came through that room, and it's like papers was flying, and the light was so bright and radiant that I was just crying out, Lord, take me. And it was so the most beautiful thing I've ever saw. I had a real visitation.
So for you, the gospel, accepting the gospel, was a very dramatic moment for you.
My life has been dramatic. So how won't that scene been dramatic? You think my life has been mediocre? My life has been dramatic. So how's God going to come to me?
So you've been living prime. God came to you in a prime way.
Yes, because he wanted it to be real. Mm-hmm. He wanted me to see the authenticity in the real. And when I tell you he came. God has always spoken to me. And I always knew it was him. I just wasn't ready at that particular time to accept the charges because I felt like it was going to cost me too much. I could do this. I don't have to be perfect, Pastor. I just got to be present. God hadn't called me to be perfect. He called me to be present. God hadn't called me to the pulpit. He called me to the street. God ain't called me to the altar. He called me to the field. My ministry is everywhere I am. It's not just isolated in this place. It's everywhere I go.
Wow. I needed to hear that. It brought some closure because I was trying to figure out, and my mind is just going all wondering what happened. But this was a good video, and it may help somebody else. So I'm gonna share it with my followers. And thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.